Right now, while you're watching this, your body is running on autopilot. Your heart is beating, your lungs are breathing, your brain is processing every word. But tonight, when you finally close your eyes and drift off, something changes. Your brain releases control. Your muscles lock down. Systems activate that only work in darkness, and some of what happens is legitimately disturbing. Over the next 12 minutes, we're counting down 10 things your body does while you sleep, processes you never agreed to, functions you can't stop, and biological routines that might make you think twice before going to bed tonight. Starting with number 10. You're lying in bed. Your body is getting heavy. Your thoughts are starting to blur. And then, without warning, your leg kicks out violently. Your whole body jerks like you just stepped off a curb that wasn't there. You're awake again, heart pounding, wondering what the hell just happened. It's called a hypnic jerk, and it affects roughly 70% of people. Right now, millions of bodies across the world are twitching themselves awake in the exact same way. Here's the disturbing part. Your brain thinks you're dying. As you drift toward unconsciousness, your muscles begin to relax, your heart rate drops, your breathing slows, and some ancient part of your brain, the part that kept your ancestors alive in trees, interprets this relaxation as falling. So it sends an emergency signal, a jolt of adrenaline, a full-body spasm designed to grab a branch that isn't there. You're not falling, but your nervous system doesn't care. It would rather wake you up 1,000 times than let you hit the ground once. The reflex is a fossil from a time when sleeping in trees was normal and falling meant death. And your body still runs that same panic protocol every single night. But that involuntary twitch is nothing compared to what happens next. Because once you actually fall asleep, your brain does something far more deliberate. It paralyzes you completely. During REM sleep, the stage where dreams are most vivid, your brainstem releases two chemicals, glycine and GABA. These neurotransmitters flood your spinal cord and shut down your motor neurons. Your muscles go limp. You can't move your arms. You can't move your legs. You can't even move your face. This is called REM atonia, and it's not a malfunction, it's a feature. Your brain paralyzes you so you don't act out your dreams, because if it didn't, you would. Studies show that when this system fails, a condition called REM sleep behavior disorder, people don't just move. They fight invisible attackers. They punch walls. They throw themselves out of windows. In documented cases, patients have strangled their partners, thinking they were defending themselves from intruders, all while completely asleep. So every night, your brain straps you into a chemical straitjacket to protect you from yourself, and most of the time, it works. But sometimes, the system glitches in reverse. You wake up, except you don't. Your mind snaps into consciousness, but your body is still locked down. You try to move, nothing happens. You try to scream, your throat won't respond. Your eyes can move, they dart around the dark room, but everything else is frozen. This is sleep paralysis, and it's one of the most terrifying experiences your brain can produce while you're still in bed. It happens when your consciousness boots up before your motor control does. You're awake, but the paralysis from REM sleep hasn't turned off yet. And because your brain is still partially in dream mode, it doesn't understand what's happening. So it creates an explanation, a presence in the room, a shadowy figure standing in the corner, a weight on your chest. People across cultures report the same hallucinations, dark entities, feelings of dread, the sensation of being held down by something malevolent. Medical researchers call these hypnagogic hallucinations, your brain filling in the blanks with the only narrative that makes sense to it. You're paralyzed, so something must be holding you down. Your breathing is shallow because your diaphragm is still partially locked, so it feels like something is sitting on your chest. The experience is so visceral that for centuries, cultures explained it as demonic attacks. The old hag in Newfoundland, the nightmare in Germanic folklore, shadow people in modern reports. Same phenomenon, same terrifying biology. And the worst part? You're fully conscious the entire time. It usually lasts 1 to 2 minutes, but when you're trapped in your own body, Every second stretches into an eternity. Eventually, your motor cortex catches up. The chemicals dissipate, and you can move again. But the fear lingers. We're only at number 8. And your body has already jerked you awake with fake falling, chemically paralyzed you to prevent dream violence, and potentially subjected you to hallucinated demons while you're conscious but frozen. And we haven't even touched the fluids yet, because while your muscles are locked down, other systems are running at full capacity. Number 7 involves automatic maintenance routines your body runs without asking permission, and it happens whether you're dreaming about flying or filing taxes. If you have a penis, it's getting hard right now. If you have a clitoris, it's engorging with blood. And this has nothing to do with what you're dreaming about. During REM sleep, your body runs diagnostic tests on your reproductive organs. Men experience nocturnal penile tumescence, erections that occur 3 to 5 times per night, each lasting 25 to 35 minutes. Women experience the same process with clitoral engorgement and vaginal lubrication. This isn't arousal. It's maintenance. Your body is checking that the blood vessels work, that the tissues are getting oxygen, that everything still functions correctly. It's the biological equivalent of a car running diagnostics while parked in the garage. Studies show these erections happen during REM cycles regardless of dream content. You could be dreaming about taxes and your body is still running the program. The process is so mechanical that doctors use it to diagnose erectile dysfunction. If nocturnal erections happen, but conscious ones don't, the problem is psychological, not physical. So every night, your reproductive system goes into test mode, completely independent of your conscious mind. And you never remember a single second of it. But while your body is running hardware diagnostics, your brain is doing something even stranger. It's shrinking. During deep sleep, your brain cells physically contract on the planet feeder of the erective. That's sure that you have a test that you find they shrink by roughly 60% of their normal size. And when they do, the space between them expands dramatically. Cerebrospinal fluid, the clear liquid that surrounds your brain and spinal cord, floods into those gaps like a pressure washer turned on inside your skull. This is called the glymphatic system, and it only activates while you sleep. Think of it like a dishwasher cycle for your neurons. All day long, your brain burns through energy, and that process creates waste. Metabolic byproducts accumulate in the spaces between cells. Proteins misfold and clump together. One of those proteins is called beta amyloid, and when it builds up, it forms the plaques associated with Alzheimer's disease. During sleep, your brain cells pull back, the fluid rushes in, and it physically washes these toxins out of your neural tissue. The waste gets flushed into your circulatory system and eventually filtered out by your liver and kidneys. The process was only discovered in 2012, and it fundamentally changed how scientists understand sleep, because it turns out this cleaning cycle only happens during deep sleep. If you don't sleep enough, the toxins accumulate. Night after night of insufficient sleep means beta amyloid plaques start forming, and once they're there, they don't leave. Studies show that people who consistently sleep less than 7 hours per night have significantly higher rates of cognitive decline and dementia later in life. So every night, your brain physically bathes itself in spinal fluid to prevent itself from poisoning you. And if you skip that process too many times, the damage becomes permanent. But the cleaning doesn't stop at your brain. While your neurons are soaking in cerebrospinal fluid, your skin is doing something equally disturbing. It's shedding at an accelerated rate. Right now, while you're awake, you're losing skin cells constantly, roughly 30,000 per hour. But when you sleep, that rate increases. Over the course of 8 hours, you'll shed somewhere between 2 and 3 million dead skin cells directly into your bed. Most of them are microscopic. You'll never see them, but they're there, settling into your sheets, your pillowcase, and especially your mattress. And those cells don't just disappear, they accumulate. Studies estimate that after 2 years, roughly 10% of your pillow's weight is dead skin cells and the creatures that eat them. Because you're not alone in that bed, dust mites live in your mattress by the millions. They don't bite, they don't burrow into your skin, they just eat. Their entire diet consists of your dead skin cells. And as they digest your discarded flesh, they excrete waste, tiny fecal pellets that break down into dust and become airborne every time you move. When you fluff your pillow, you're launching a cloud of mite feces into the air you breathe. When your mattress starts feeling heavier after a few years, it's not just compressed foam, it's layers of your own dead tissue mixed with the bodies and waste of millions of tiny scavengers. Your bed is a biological crime scene, and you're both the victim and the primary food source. And those dead cells are just one of several fluids your body releases while you sleep. Because every night, you're sweating, not just a light moisture. You're producing roughly 1 full cup of liquid sweat over the course of 8 hours. That's half a pint. If you sleep every night for a year, you're releasing approximately 25 gallons of sweat into your mattress. Think about that. 25 gallons. That's enough to fill a small trash can. And it doesn't evaporate cleanly. Some of it gets absorbed into your sheets, sure, but a significant portion soaks directly into your mattress, where it stays. This is your body's way of regulating temperature. As you enter deep sleep, your core temperature drops by about 1 degree Fahrenheit. To achieve that, your body dilates blood vessels near your skin and releases heat through perspiration. It's a necessary process. Your brain needs to cool down to function properly during sleep. But the side effect is that your mattress becomes a humid, warm environment. And remember those dust mites? They thrive in exactly these conditions: warm, moist, and packed with dead skin. Your sweat doesn't just make your bed damp, it creates the perfect ecosystem for the creatures already living there. That's why mattresses get heavier over time. It's not just the mites and skin cells, it's years of absorbed sweat, creating a sponge-like layer of biological material underneath you. But sweat isn't the only liquid pooling in your bed. While you're unconscious, your mouth opens, your jaw relaxes, and gravity takes over. You start drooling. The average person produces about 1 liter of saliva per day. A significant portion of that happens while you sleep. Normally, when you're awake, you swallow constantly, roughly once every minute or two. It's automatic. You don't think about it. But when you fall asleep, that swallow reflex diminishes. Your mouth keeps producing saliva, but you're not clearing it as efficiently. So it pools, and eventually it spills out onto your pillow. That wet spot you wake up to isn't a sign of poor sleep hygiene, it's evidence that your immune system was working. Saliva contains antibacterial enzymes, lysozyme, lactoferrin, immunoglobulins. While you sleep, these compounds coat your gums and teeth, protecting them from bacterial overgrowth. Your mouth is one of the most bacteria-rich environments in your body. Without that constant saliva bath, infections would take hold within days. So yes, you're drooling on your pillow, but that drool is keeping your teeth from rotting out of your skull. It's a disgusting process with a critical function, and every morning you wake up with the evidence dried on your face. Drool goes out, but mucus goes down. And what happens? Next might be the single most visceral thing your body does while you sleep. Every 24 hours, your body produces roughly 1 liter of mucus. That's a full water bottle's worth of thick, sticky fluid generated by the membranes lining your nose, sinuses, and throat. And you swallow most of it. All day long, tiny hair-like structures called cilia beat in coordinated waves, pushing mucus from your nasal passages down toward your throat. You swallow it without noticing, but at night, when you're lying horizontal, gravity joins the process. The mucus doesn't have to fight an upward angle anymore. It flows freely down the back of your throat in what's called post-nasal drip. And because your swallow reflex is suppressed during sleep, it accumulates before going down in larger amounts. Your stomach becomes a biological incinerator, filled with infected slime your body spent all day collecting. That mucus isn't clean. It's a trap designed to catch bacteria, viruses, allergens, and environmental particles. Everything your nose filters out ends up suspended in that fluid, and then you swallow it. Your stomach acid destroys most of the pathogens, breaking them down into harmless components. Without this process, respiratory infections would overwhelm you within days. So every night, you're gulping down a mucus cocktail thick with dead bacteria and trapped debris, and your body treats it like fuel for the immune system's furnace. We've covered paralysis, brain shrinkage, sweat puddles, drool stains, and snot smoothies. But the number one thing your body does while you sleep ties all of this together, and it explains why skipping sleep is one of the worst biological decisions you can make. Because for some people, sleep includes brief moments where breathing just stops. It's called sleep apnea, and it's more common than you think. When you fall asleep, the muscles in your throat relax. For most people, the airway stays open enough for air to pass through. But for millions of others, those muscles relax too much. The soft tissue collapses, the airway narrows or closes completely, and suddenly, you're not breathing. Your oxygen levels drop, carbon dioxide builds up in your blood, your brain detects the suffocation and sends a panic signal. You partially wake up, not enough to remember it, but enough to gasp and restore airflow. Then you fall back asleep, and it happens again. In severe cases, this cycle repeats 30, 40, even 50 times per hour. You're being suffocated and resuscitated all night long, and you have no memory of it, but your body remembers. Your cardiovascular system is spiking with stress hormones every few minutes. Your brain is being starved of oxygen repeatedly, and all those cleaning processes we talked about, the glymphatic flush, the immune system maintenance, the cellular repair, they only work properly during deep, uninterrupted sleep. If you're waking up dozens of times per hour, you never reach that restorative stage. And this is where everything connects. All those disturbing processes your body runs at night, the paralysis, the brainwashing, the fluid production, the temperature regulation, they're not just weird biological quirks. They're essential maintenance systems, and they only function when you're actually sleeping. So what happens when you don't sleep enough? Your brain stops cleaning itself. Those beta amyloid plaques start accumulating, increasing your Alzheimer's risk dramatically. Your immune system collapses. Studies show that after a single night of 4 to 5 hours of sleep, you have 70% fewer natural killer cells, the white blood cells that destroy cancer cells and viruses. Your testosterone levels drop, equivalent to aging yourself 10 years overnight. Your cardiovascular risk skyrockets. People who consistently sleep less than 6 hours per night have a 200% increased risk of a fatal heart attack, and the World Health Organization has classified night shift work, which chronically disrupts sleep, as a probable carcinogen. Not possible, probable. So yes, your body does disturbing things while you sleep. It jerks you awake thinking you're falling. It paralyzes you and sometimes forgets to turn the paralysis off. It floods your brain with spinal fluid. It sheds millions of dead skin cells for dust mites to feast on. It soaks your mattress in gallons of sweat. It drools antibacterial slime onto your pillow. It makes you swallow a liter of infected mucus. And for some, it briefly suffocates you over and over again. But here's the most disturbing thing: not sleeping at all. Because when you skip sleep, every single process we just talked about stops working. The trash doesn't get taken out. The systems don't get maintained. And your body starts breaking down in ways that can't be undone. That's the full list. 10 things your body does while you're unconscious. From hypnic jerks to brain flushing to literal garbage disposal. If you made it this far, hit the like button. Drop a comment. What's the weirdest thing your body does while you sleep? I'm planning a follow-up on lucid dreaming and what happens when you try to control these processes, so subscribe if you want to see that. Now, go get some rest. Your brain needs to take out the trash.